You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Time to take a coding break. Hello, Coding Pros, and welcome back to another episode of the Coding Break podcast. I am Tam Talk, your coding coach, here to talk about all things good, bad, and as well as the ugly as it relates to the medical coding industry. So on today's episode, this is going to be an ugly topic. This is definitely going to be an ugly topic because I want to talk about pivoting. Like, when do you say no to an opportunity, a medical coding opportunity, or when do you say yes to a medical coding opportunity? So you may say, well, Tamara, what are you talking about? So I was presented with an opportunity to audit. So, of course, I went through my toolbox asking, like, what is the salary range or what is the salary requirement? And the individual, are y'all ready, suggested that it be $29 an hour. Now, don't get me wrong, $29 an hour is a good salary. However, it was not a good salary for the work that I was asked to do, right? So, for me, that was a hard no. I'm going to pass. This is not for me. And the reason why I say that is because I currently work a full-time permanent role with an organization. And so this particular role would have required me to step away from my permanent role and dedicate 2 months to training for a contract. Again, there's no guarantee it's going to go longer than my permanent role. And then, of course, the salary. So it was a hard no for me. Although it was remote, it was a hard no for me. Now, had I not had my permanent role, then I probably would have entertained it. But then again, it also depends on the task that they are asking me to commit to. What role, what task are you asking me to deliver? And then also, I take a look at my experience. I take a look at my credentials. I also take a look at the specialty that I am going to be auditing. And because if you're new to coding, there are different complexities for the coding specialties. They're very different complexities. Some are very complex and some are straightforward. But nonetheless, I decline. So what are the things that I look for? What are the questions that I ask when a potential recruiter or employer, healthcare organization is seeking my coding experience or services? One, I ask, of course, off the top, what is the salary requirement? What is the salary requirement? That's number one. As a coding professional, you should have a coding salary range. You should have a range for the different types of services, coding services, whether that be an auditor, whether that be in leadership, or whether that be just strictly coding. You should have a salary range for each of those categories. Secondly, is it remote? Is it short-term? Is it long-term? Is it permanent? What's the scope of this particular role? If it's short-term, and then, okay, if that's something you're willing to do, is it long-term? Is it remote? Is it on-site? So, again, these are things that you need to be asking the recruiter or the interviewer or the person hiring for the particular role. So the next thing you need to be asking is the specialty. What specialty are you coding? What specialty are you auditing? What specialty are you leading? What department are you leading? Of course, it's going to be in coding, or it may be in compliance, but what what are the specifics of that particular role. And usually what I do, I would ask the recruiter or the employer to send me a complete job description of the role, and I can look and see what it's going to entail. And if they ask if they can represent me, or if they ask about the salary, again, I have a salary range in mind. I have a high dollar amount, and then I have a low dollar amount. And if I can get anywhere in between that, that is perfect. Now, if it's something that can be completed part-time, again, because I have a permanent day role, or is it something that has to be done during, I call it the banker's hours, which is like early morning, 9 to 5 hours, right? It has to be on site or on time or during those hours. If it's something that, again, if it's something that's requiring me to let go of my permanent role for, again, a short-term goal or short-term role, it's going to be a hard no for me. Because I'm looking at the pros and cons of the different things what I currently am doing versus what they are asking of me. And so if it's not going to be above and beyond what I'm currently making or currently doing, it's more likely will be a hard no, because I have to start over. Again, now if I didn't have a permanent job, or if I didn't have a permanent role, or if I was actually seeking a role, I would probably take it, because I would be available to sit for I'm saying 2 months, but maybe 2 weeks or at least a month of training with that company. I can sit still for that long, right? Because I'm getting paid for that. And then also, again, it really depends on if I am available at that time. So these are things that I would recommend you have in your toolbox or ask. Again, you should have salary ranges for the different types of coding roles that you're pursuing or someone is seeking from you. Number two, you need to determine if it's a remote job, on-site job, short-term, long-term, permanent. These are questions you need to ask. And then also the specialty. What specialty will I be providing these coding services? Is it auditing? Is it just strictly coding? Is it leading? What specialty is it? Is it internal medicine, or is it general surgery? What type of specialty? But again, because there are different complexities to these different specialties. So we must know what those things are. Again, before you commit. And then also my favorite, the assessment. The assessment. Will there be an assessment? And if so, what does an assessment encompass? Okay, don't give me an assessment for interventional radiology if I'm just coding internal medicine. Okay? Don't give me an assessment for general surgery if I'm only coding family practice. You see where I'm going with this? Don't spend your precious time, at least 2 to 3 hours, taking another coding exam just to code family practice. Don't spend your time, spend your wheels trying to code interventional radiology services when you're only coding family practice. So if you are an assessment creator, take note that you should be creating your coding assessments to gauge surround your day-to-day coding of your organization. So if your coding organization does not provide interventional radiology services, there should not one interventional radiology question on your assessment. And your assessment shouldn't be 2 to 3 hours long. Again, I remember taking a coding assessment at an interview. So imagine if I had to spend 2 to 3 hours to take a coding assessment at an interview. I interviewed and I was presented an assessment. An assessment should take on at the most 30 minutes. It shouldn't take an hour or 2 to 3 hours to complete. That's a whole nother coding examination. So if you are an assessment creator, take note that your assessment should not be that long. If your assessments last longer than an hour, dear sir or ma'am, you are trying to match it to your level of coding experience, and this is going to sound harsh, but your coding level may not be at the level in which you're trying to get out of another coder, especially if you have beginner coders who are trying to seek employment, who are trying to learn, who are trying to get get in the door to get their feet wet so that they can become an experienced coach such as yourself. So again, take note of that. Yeah, so again, these are things that you should have in your toolbox when you're trying to pursue a coding role or someone is seeking the services from you. So yeah, so that's all that I have for this coding break. And as always, remember to code on. Until next time, stay blessed.